Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's show, where we'll be talking about Black Friday sales, or lack thereof, new games announced for December for your free pro subscriptions, and much, much more. So without further delay, on to the show. Hello, gamers, and welcome to episode 10 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. I'm joined by my usual co-hosts in the Stadia seats this week, our talented techie teacher, all the way from the mighty Midlands, Mr. Tom.
Hello!
And the man of many pixels and poor internet connection, Richie.
Hello.
Welcome to this week's show, lads. I hope your gaming has been good this last week. Now we've all got Stadia, which means we can game whenever, wherever. But before we dive into all the excitement and tasty Stadia chat that we've got for you this week, we all wanted to start by thanking all of our Stadia supporters out there who went over to patreon.com/Sounds of Stadia and signed up to the founders level at just 78p, which we mentioned last week. So thank you for that additional support. It's going to help keep the podcast ticking over nicely. And it allows us to make much better future content. So, for those who are out there still enjoying the show on free feeds, we want to thank you as well. So, thank you for all your first-time listeners and also people who joined us in the last couple of weeks. Remember, you can find us on Twitter at Sounds of Stadia or over on YouTube by searching for Sounds of Stadia. And don't forget to click that little subscribe button, as you may miss out on all of our new upcoming shows we've got planned for the end of the year and into 2020. Speaking of which, we have been working to finalise a date, a time, and a location so we could actually do a video stream, because we've heard from a few of you out there that you'd like to see our actual faces so you believe that we're real people.
You'll be disappointed, though.
You'll be disappointed, though, maybe. So we've locked down a date. We've got Saturday, the 14th of December, 2019. So just like Stadia, it'll be out by the end of the year. We're just wrapping up our kind of stream layout and the logistics of it all. But yes, Sounds of Stadia Live will be broadcasting soon. So watch this space. That's the show updates out of the way, gentlemen. So without any further delay, let's jump into Tom.
The super sexy special Stadia story segment. I figured I'd put a twist on it this week.
Oh, I actually thought that as well. I've got a sound bite that I was going to use for it. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but say that again.
The super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka
That is quite loud.
I hope it's written. That's
we
the news.
apologise.
So I don't know how that's going to work.
It was quite loud on my end.
Yeah, it sounds quite cool though from my end, so I'm happy with it.
So sorry for deafening anyone.
Sorry for deafening anyone, but we're trying to step it up a level. So Tom's clearly been working on his phonetics there. He's got a little jingle going. And I just thought I'd search for an audio bite to use in the actual clip. So maybe in the future I'll just blend it in when I mix the audio rather than just blast it through the microphone.
Yeah, I think it's probably a
Scripted
smart
podcast, by the way.
Well, anyone out there who's definitely apologies. Right, so news stories this week. As we can imagine, Stadia is now live, and we're starting to get some exciting, constant news trickle through. We can talk about the games, but I think the specific news that came up this week, top of the roll, is Final Fantasy. Which one is that? Which one is it, Richie? 9? 15. It's one of them.
You can't read Roman numerals.
I can. It's just not instantly. I just need to take that extra second to figure it out. I know it's confusing for everyone out there who's not a Roman. So yes, we've got Final Fantasy 15 and Trials Rising from Ubisoft are now available on Stadia. Just like that, they rolled them out back-to-back days this week. So fantastic. Our games library's got a little bit bigger to the list that we promised. So that winding down date till the end of the year is happening. So I hope to see a few more next week as well. Thoughts on those two games, gentlemen?
Very happy 15's arrived. Very much considering playing it again because they've actually released some extra content for 15, which is Stadia exclusive.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes, they've added a bunch of mini games.
All right, mini games. I was going to say, how in depth are we talking?
It's not game breaking, but I mean, it might be game breaking depending on what who knows. But no, they've got they've included, once again, all of the DLC comes with the game for the price that you pay, and in addition, you also get a handful of extra mini games that you cannot get on any other platform.
See, now I'm tempted because I do have the Platinum on PlayStation, but I didn't bother with any of the DLC.
Okay.
So the Platinum took over 100 hours to get. So it's like, by the time I got it, I was like, looked at the DLC, it's like, no, thank you. I want to move on.
Maybe this might swing it in your favor, but I do believe there is a multiplayer DLC in Final Fantasy 15.
That could be fun.
Where you can jump online as your little crew. For those of you who've not played Final Fantasy 15 before, you roll around as your little posse in your car. And if you use the DLC for the multiplayer expansion, you can actually have people join you as the other party members.
This is the one with the car, is it?
It is the one that
they had a roadmap for DLC and then they scrapped it.
Yes, they did. That is correct.
This was the game that was coming out for about 5 years.
Right.
It also, arguably, to some people's dismay, it doesn't have a proper ending for that reason, because they'd planned to sort of expand the story and expand the conclusion, but they never actually did.
Right.
So instead, they released minigames.
Yeah, I feel like I remember reading something like the director left or someone game producer left a part of it. There's a big kind of fallout or something. But yeah, in line with Final Fantasy anyway, I'm sure the new one that's due to come out early next year is also a bit lukewarm, weird with the episodic content. Am I right in thinking? Again, without being a Final Fantasy fan.
Final Fantasy VII.
Not played any of them. Yeah, it's something like, is it part 1, but they've not disclosed if it's part 1 on the box art or the Amazon listings or anything?
What they've said is it's going to, every single game will be the size of a standalone game.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know how many games it's going to be. I don't think Square even really have that nailed in yet. But you can expect, from what I understand, that the first game will be a full $60 experience on its own.
Long story short, it is the extended edition of Final Fantasy VII. So for the Lord of the Rings fans out there, eat your hearts out.
Right. I like how we start out with long story short about an episodic broken up thing that takes forever to produce and develop.
Yeah, it's not a long story long, to be honest.
Long story long. Extra long. Yeah.
So that's Final Fantasy. So both of you, by the sounds of it, may be tempted to get on board with that one. The Trials Rising game, have either of you gentlemen played any of the Trials games in the past?
I may have. I think one came out on PS Plus like a year or two ago, and I jumped in for about an hour. I was like, this is a bit of fun, then never touched it again.
Yeah, it was Trials Fusion, I believe, which was the last incarnation of it. Came out two or so years back, I think. I did the same, Richie. I got on board and played a little bit of it. I had a bit of fun, played it for about 2 hours, I think it was. It's one of those games where there's not too much in-depth about it. It's definitely good for killing a bit of time, but it's obviously it doesn't really have much beyond the actual races. And if they start to get quite difficult, I don't know about you, but I just get a bit frustrated about flipping over and breaking my neck every time. It's fun to start off with doing all the loops and the flips and the fireworks and everything, but yeah, I think after several stages it kind of gets a bit repetitive. So fun games. I think it's marked up about £20 on the store at the moment. But it's something different.
I put Trials Rising in the category of good game, not for me.
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty much the same thing. It's a good thing if you want to just have sitting in the background for people just to play at a party, that kind of thing, when you've got a few friends around having beers. But other than that, you're not going to sink anything more than like half an hour to an hour at a time in it.
Yeah, it's not quite Final Fantasy levels of commitment.
No. I think it's very much would be nice as a Stadia Pro game, to be honest. So like you have it there, you can jump in, have a bit of fun, but I'm unlikely to actually go out and buy it myself.
That's where it should sort of fit in, I think, really.
Definitely. So speaking of the games that have got releases this last week, we also learnt that Darksiders Genesis, which is going to be a PC and Stadia exclusive until I think it comes out on Valentine's Day for the other major consoles. We got a date for it. They released a trailer, and it's December 5th. for Darksiders Genesis. So we've got a date again this side of New Year, which means it's another 2019 game ticked off that list.
Yeah.
What are your 2 levels of interest regarding this one?
Do you guys have you played the Darksiders games?
I have not, no.
I've played a bit of one of them. I think it's the one when you played as Death.
Okay.
But this is, from what I understand, this is different.
It is.
It's in the world of Darksiders, but it's a different genre of game.
Yeah, it's an isometric type action RPG, so it's more akin to Diablo as opposed to the Darksiders experience. So imagine that sort of like top-down, sort of angled isometric 3D in a 2D sort of environment. But I'm tempted, to be honest with you, because I dig the Diablo series. I loved playing 2, played it to my heart's content. Same with 3. Excited for 4. I'm just going to plug this right here, but I really hope that Blizzard do bring their games to Stadia. But Genesis might sort of like fill a bit of a gap for me. So I'll see how it goes over Christmas.
I like these sort of games, but quite often, like with Diablo 3, I played through to the end of the story with a couple of characters, but I was never really interested in like the post-game content when you start just grinding gear. That's where I've always dropped out on these sort of games. I've played things like Path of Exile and stuff like in the past and Torchlight, but it's always once I've got like through the campaign, I'm kind of done with it. So that's probably where I would be with this as well.
Yeah, my understanding of Genesis is they're trying to take it in a different direction, because all the previous games, I feel like they've had a lukewarm reception. They're kind of in that double A kind of category tier where they're not as mainstream as the big hitters out there, and they're not quite indie, but they've always got quite a kind of cult following. And I think from what I've read about Genesis, it's taken a different detour, and what you all mentioned there, Tom, about it being more Diablo style. I think maybe they're trying to reach a broader or a different audience on this iteration.
Quite possibly. I mean, yeah, it is a market that it's doing relatively well. Like Path of Exile has done very well, especially in like the early naysay days of Diablo 3 when there was all of the issues with like the real money auction house and things like that. And if it works for them, then great. From what I've seen at the moment, though, there seem to be certain characters in it that people sort of feel are going to get completely swept under the rug compared to others. Like certain characters you can play as in Genesis seem to be far more powerful than the others, whereas 2 of them, I can't remember which ones they are, sorry guys, but they tend to seem from the get-go to be a little bit weak in comparison.
I think this is beta testing will kind of help with the balancing. These sort of games, there's always going to be ongoing balancing issues.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll see how it does. There definitely seems to be like these style of games definitely seem to gather a cult following, like I mentioned, and then they kind of stick with them, and people play it religiously non-stop.
Yeah, it's nice to get a game of this style on Stadia because there isn't one at the moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that it's gonna come as, I know it says exclusive, but it's not really if it's on PC at the same time, which is a bit of one of them weird caveat things. But I suppose
console
you'd say console, but then it's not a console, so. It's really, really peculiar, but at least, like I said, we'll be able to play it on Stadia from the 5th of December. That actually ties quite nicely in with the one of the questions that was wrote into us this week. We were asked, with Stadia essentially having the ability to stream the PC version of a game, and it's also mouse and keyboard compatible from the beginning, do you think that we'll ever see more traditional PC games come across to Stadia, such as more RTS style games? So my example was Age of Empires, Planet Coaster style, that lend themselves much, much more favorably to a keyboard and mouse. And obviously Darksiders Genesis, with it being a PC release and a Stadia release, clearly they're probably using the similar base version of the game, or the high res up version of the game, because it's capable of running it. Whereas the console iterations may need a little bit more tweaking to make them specific for those devices. What are your thoughts on more PC-style games coming to Stadia in the future?
I really hope so. If you actually go back to some of the earlier podcasts, I think it might even be episode 1, one of the things I was interested in Google Stadia about is because I kind of moved away from PC gaming purely on the price of the hardware relative to consoles. So I kind of Stadia, what I'm liking from what my experience so far is, it's the exact blend I wanted to between a console and PC. And we've already got things like Football Manager is out, Farming Simulator, which I will be jumping into when I get my hands on it.
Well, yeah.
So
We'll get to that.
These inherently PC games, so I think they are coming.
Yeah, I'm similar to you, Richie. I know you've kind of had your foot in the pool of PC for a little bit longer than I have. I'm not sure what your history with it, Tom, but much like probably everyone of our generation, we got our first family computer back in the 90s, and we kind of all, you had your original PlayStation 1 and then PS2 and GameCube and stuff ticking over. But on the other side, I spent a damn lot of time playing RTS games on my PC. So Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, Roller Coaster Tycoon, The Sims originally, because that does not translate well to a console with a controller. It's that kind of ability to just click and maneuver your way around the world, a little bit more tactile as such. But yeah, I'd love it for more games like that to come across. I actually have Jurassic World Evolution, which is another game we'll get into later on. And I love that game. I got the Platinum on PlayStation, but there is that niggling feeling that it would run a lot more favorably on a PC setup with a mouse and keyboard. So the fact Stadia inherently plays that, I think it could bode well. And I think for some exclusive deals, not everyone, like you mentioned, has a high spec PC. So if they can get on board with Stadia with a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse and just bang, they've got it running on their living room TV or their laptop. Fantastic. The opportunity is great. Anything for you, Tom? What's your PC history?
Likewise with Richie, really. I mean, I'm a big PC gamer. I always have been. Probably since about the same time I had one of my first consoles. Albeit I probably spent more time on my PS1 than on the PC. But over time, I did get into a lot of early PC games, particularly, like I've said before on previous episodes, MMORPGs. I used to play a lot of Star Wars Galaxies, for example. That was one of the MMOs that really got me going with PC gaming. But definitely ATS as well. RTS. What am I talking about? RTS. I was going to say
car repair company, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I was going to say Age of Empires and RTS at the same time. Yeah. My brain's all messed up today. Yeah. The only thing I have to say is Wallalo.
There's a throwback.
Okay.
But yeah, actually, when you're saying Star Wars there, I remember one of my favourite games was Star Wars Empire at War. Which was essentially an RTS where you went from planet to planet, built up your Imperial base or your Rebel base, and you fought the opposition on a Star Wars planet with all your ATSTs and everything, and your X-Wing all around. And it's such a good... any movie franchise or TV series that kind of has mass armies, war scales, it lends itself so well to an RTS game. Or an ATS game for you, Tom.
Yeah.
Like when I think when Game of Thrones phenomenon was all the rage everywhere, that lends itself so well. You build your houses, you create your banner, you create your fortress, and you attack the other families across Westeros. That lends itself just prime for it, and it just doesn't happen. It's similar to Lord of the Rings. Battle for Middle-earth was fantastic.
Oh, such a
sweet spot for that. Yeah. And it unfortunately the movie licensing and stuff gets passed around like God knows what. But yeah, I know Lord of the Rings Online is a thing. Yeah, it really is. But some of the best tie-in games, I think, come from the PC side of things as opposed to the console, because you've just got that power to run something a bit more wide scale. And yeah, a lot of love for those games.
I've always been a fan of anything first person on PC. Anything from like Skyrim to like Call of Duty, anything first person. I don't know, it just feels better to me on PC. But what I'm liking about Stadia is if you're playing quite seriously, you can be sat at my desk, but sometimes you don't want to be sat at your desk for hours. So I can always just stop, walk downstairs, pick my controller, lay back on my couch and continue. And it works. I have done it.
Yeah, I mean, this week...
We can do now.
You've done a few of those style tests this week, Tom.
Absolutely.
You sent us a couple of videos in our chat group about checking out your pinging from device to device.
Absolutely.
Found it okay?
Yeah, I found it actually really good. I was quite surprised went around to visit my family and tried it out on their TV and on one of my mum's old laptops, and it worked very well. The only thing I would say that I have noticed from my own experience now is that the version I get on the Chromecast seems to be much better in terms of performance than if I take it to a PC or laptop via the Chrome browser. I think, Richie, you said you had some experiences like that as well.
Yeah, I've had my laptop. I've actually been house sitting for my parents for the last week and a half. So I took one of my PC monitors, put it on their coffee table, had my laptop next to it, and I had my Chromecast plugged into my monitor. And through the Chromecast, I get better performance.
Yeah, it's quite strange that it's like that. I took the dive last week and bought the ultimate version of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I've been playing through that again and loving it once again. And I started playing it on the Chromecast. Fantastic, really, really good, no issues whatsoever. Threw it over to my PC, which arguably shouldn't have any performance difference because of the way that Stadia works. But I did notice on my screen that I was getting a lot more pixelation in terms of just playing the game. And it wasn't unplayable because Assassin's Creed isn't one of those titles that is going to be like that. But it was noticeable.
I was thinking about this actually, and I was wondering if it could be something to do with the network adapter, with Chromecast being very much designed for Stadia, where everyone's network adapter in other hardware will be completely different from piece of hardware to hardware.
It might be interesting to get a comment on Google from that, so I might drop them an email and just talk about, network performance depending on hardware specifics as well, because as you say, both devices I've got are hardwired, like Ethernet plugged into the device, so it shouldn't realistically be a difference.
Yeah. What I've actually found is on my PC, I have pretty rubbish internet. I usually get between 15 and 20 megabits per second. On my PC, on my laptop, going through like a wireless connection, Destiny was kind of unplayable. With my Chromecast on my TV, perfect, 1080p, not an issue. So even at fairly low internet speeds through Chromecast, so there's a definite significant improvement in performance with Chromecast.
Yeah, I've not had any issues with Chromecast over the last week. It's worked flawlessly. Like I said previously, 4K HDR, amazing, like totally surprised. I have jumped onto my laptop a couple of times to play the same game. The only issue I came across with my laptop running on Wi-Fi was whilst I was playing Tomb Raider, there was some interesting moments where it was only about every 10 minutes, I'd say, or something. She just decided to wander off to the left or the right. Almost like there was like the thumbstick was stuck in a certain direction. So I'm hoping it's not the controller, and it was just that particular interaction I had over that Wi-Fi connection. But yeah, you'd just be climbing around, doing some shimmying up ledges and such as she does, and then randomly just walks left. It only happened for like 3 seconds. She just take a couple of stops left, and I'd obviously pull the controller in the opposite direction, and then eventually she'd jig back into me being in control. But yeah, that's the only kind of hiccup I've had, but it didn't really bother me. It was just every now and again I had to be conscious of not just walking off a ledge and falling down a cliffside. But
that could be quite problematic in Tomb Raider.
In a Tomb Raider game, yeah, definitely. So once I was aware of it, I made a point of not loitering near the edge of a cliff. But that's the only issue I've had over the last week of playing it quite extensively. I'm getting quite far through the old Tomb Raider Definitive Edition now.
Nice. Cool.
So that brings us on to other releases then. We've also got Borderlands 3 is coming in December. They haven't put a concrete date on it yet, but it is coming. So again, another tick on that 2019 box.
Yeah, I think what they've said is, they haven't said this very well, but they have said it, that they are kind of releasing the games as they get certified. I think that's why they're not putting solid dates on things. Like, yeah, it will be done this year, but it's kind of out of their hands a bit.
Yeah, you'd like to hope that the file is just there ready to go live.
Yeah, it will be. I think this is why you're getting suddenly a random drop, like Final Fantasy 15, Trials Rising, and a few other games that just went, and here it is. Yeah, I think as soon as they get that certification, when they just hit the switch, and now it's there.
I hope it's also the PC base that they're putting on Stadia as well, because episodes ago I talked about performance issues when I've been playing Borderlands 3 PS4. Albeit they've thrashed a lot of that out now, but the PC version just runs so much better, and with that 60 FPS as well, I'm really hoping it comes PC. Yeah,
I would have thought so, just for the pure fact that you can use mouse and keyboard, or controller on the PC version, which I don't think you can. Can you?
You can't. Not on PS4. No.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So that's another AAA game that's going to be in our collection hopefully soon. Soon enough. I mean, we're in December now, so coming in December can be anything from tomorrow all the way through.
Yeah.
And we did get a nice little story of a new game coming to Stadia, a little indie game called Splitlings. I think that was picked up by StadiaSource.com. It was a YouTube, I think a tweet or something, or a YouTube video came out from the developers of the game. Don't know if they were allowed to say that they're coming to Stadia. Seems very odd that they would just mention it with no kind of just a random indie game dropping on it. But apparently they're there. I've had a look at the YouTube video. It looks like a fun little kind of couch co-op style game. Thoughts on it, gentlemen? You both had a glance at it as well.
Looks fun.
Looks fun. Tom?
Yeah, again, it's one of these titles that I think could be a nice little party game. You know, you get your mates around, pizza, that sort of thing. Just have a laugh with it, whack it on.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if what the pricing would be of the indie games, because naturally we associate them with being a cheaper product to pick up and play. So I think if something like this came in at like the £4 or £5 mark, it'd probably do more beneficial. Similar to the kind of influx indie games had on Nintendo Switch once that launched. That suddenly became the go-to place for indie titles, and I think Splitling's been potentially one of the first games to come to Stadia is hugely beneficial for itself because it's the only one of its type out there, and it's not kind of lost in the weeds with the other. If you go look on Nintendo's store now, there is so many shovelware style games where they're just absolute rubbish, like mobile ports and card puzzle word games and such, that they're not worth the money that they're made to produce, but yet they're there.
It's
and it gets
almost
lost in the weeds.
too much choice, so you can't find anything good.
Yeah, it's not even quality. Like they're just, some of the storefronts just aren't really managed that well, and I think the good stuff just kind of gets lost in the weeds. And you think these developers, especially in independent teams, work so hard on really small budgets to get their kind of this final product out. And I think there's a lot of them who don't really get the justice they deserve. And hopefully this coming to Stadia means it's going to be up there with what the other 18 plus 20 odd titles we've got.
Now, one thing that's... Sorry, go on.
It'd be interesting to see how Google handle the storefront as more games come out, because at the moment there isn't a huge amount of stuff there, so it's easy to keep it nice and neat and tidy. But when they start getting lots and lots of games coming through, how will that then handle it? Because what things like the search functions, will you be able to filter by genre? How will these things start being implemented?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. One thing I was looking at with this game as well, just checking out the Steam page, is it actually comes with a co-op level editor as well, which would be quite nice on Stadia. If you could just like jump in with your mates too and just create some stuff as well. So I'd like to see how that would build into the way that they get everything working, really. Quick note on that. Have you guys taken any screenshots yet in games on Stadia?
One or two, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I quite like the fact that I can just pull them straight up on my phone and I've got them there. That's pretty cool.
I do need to implement the way to save the screenshots though to your gallery, because I've noticed the only way to do it at the moment is by screenshotting your actual screen, which you always lose that bit of fidelity once you screenshot them, because your camera capture is not designed to pull through the full like quality level.
I think they need to change for me the video capture side of it as well, rather than just you press a button, you capture the last like 30 seconds or whatever it is. Can I not just set a start point and an end point? So you just start capturing my gameplay, and when I'm done, stop it.
I'd imagine this stuff's going to be coming in the future once they roll out more features. Because...
You say that, but on PlayStation and on Switch, I don't know what it's like on Xbox. It's literally just capture the last 5 minutes or whatever it is.
True, but I think the way Google have kind of propositioned this with the whole tie-in with YouTube and such going forward, I'd hope that it is a case of for content creators like ourselves out there, it's just going to be set your start and end time and then just cast, and it just does it. Maybe it's with a camera hooked up to it somehow.
Having quite a robust recording system in there that you can very quickly get it onto your YouTube channel would be very good for them for that reason.
Yeah, and I mean they own YouTube, so they are literally the biggest pioneer out there of video capture and streaming and stuff. So it's in safe hands, I think. But what you mentioned there, Richie, about the storefront and all of the layouts and apps, we had a new story come out this week specifically for Friday in relation to the storefront, because everyone, I believe, that I'm aware of, was looking for some particular Black Friday deals. That
did you pick anything
didn't
up?
materialize because again, if we link over to the particular news story that I found, so I clocked this on, it was actually on launch day, and it's Grace from Google on the community. She actually said that there would be some sales and keep your eyes peeled for them, which naturally led to everyone thinking, they've said there would be more deals. And then she's had to come out and clarify. She said, "Hey everyone, there seems to be some confusion around the Black Friday deals. We started them at launch, and they'll continue through Black Friday weekend. The sale end times are noted in the Stadia app, so don't miss out on the opportunity to take an advantage of these deals."
Yeah.
So, some choice wording there, but I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the initial launch pro deals that have been there from the 19th of November. Do we believe that they're the Black Friday deals?
Cop
I
out.
think there's
cop out.
Yeah, I'm with Tom on that. I think there's been some probably miscommunication. I'll give Grace the benefit of the doubt. I think there's been some internal communication. She's probably been told that yes, there will be Black Friday deals, so that's what she said, and it becomes like, okay, where are they? It's like, oh, they're already there.
Yeah, they're not.
see
Imagine going into a shop. So say you went into your local technology shop on Black Friday. Their store would be absolutely kitted with point of sale material for Black Friday. All the banners, the logos, the price tickets, everything will be absolutely covered in Black Friday information. Now you go over the Stadia app, there is nothing there to indicate any kind of sale other than like the pro deals, which we should be entitled to regardless.
Well, that's part of your pro subscription.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not been great, has it? It's one of those messaging things that they've not landed correctly on it. And what makes it worse is when you look at the official Stadia account, people were asking questions leading up to Black Friday because naturally everybody in the world jumps on this American kind of tradition now.
Yeah.
And they're all waiting for it. They're all holding on to their money for Black Friday, thinking, I'm going to snag me a deal. Thomas Owen actually tweeted at the direct Google Stadia account, well, will there be any Black Friday deals on games for Stadia? The official account replied to him on November the 28th, "Hi, Thomas. Thanks for your tweet. We'll have exciting offers for Black Friday. Be sure to check out the store on the Stadia app for special promos."
No.
Like that.
No.
That's just... The wording, "we'll have some exciting offers for Black Friday." You can't just repackage your existing deals and say that they're Black Friday. That doesn't work. So technically, the deals we're looking at now, are these also Boxing Day sale deals? Are these
Christmas
also
boys?
New Year's Day sales? Like, when does it end? It's like bed showrooms where there's always a sale on. It's the winter sale, the spring sale, the autumn sale, the Christmas sale. Don't tell me it's just going to be a perpetual thing.
Like your local book and stationery store that's always closing down sale.
Yeah.
There's not even a sales section on the storefront. It's
just deals, isn't it? All deals are pro deals.
Stadia Pro deals, but that, for me, that's the stuff you get with your Stadia Pro subscription.
Right. Stadia team, real talk, just for a minute. Stadia team, listen up. Stop beating your customer base. Please stop beating us into the ground, because we love you and we want this to work. So please, for the love of all that is holy, sort your shit out.
Yeah. It's just such a simple thing. Like, they've had the launch date set in stone for so long now. How has no one in their marketing department sat down and went, oh, you know what really important date follows shortly after launch? Black Friday. Especially with it being an American company. It's a bloody national holiday for them, Black Friday now.
The thing is, compared to what you expect from like Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, this entire launch period has been so amateur.
Well,
so many mistakes, so much miscommunication.
Yeah, well, to mirror that,
late deliveries.
Yeah, to mirror that with the competition, I don't know about you guys, but I had a notification pop on my PlayStation cross media bar that says Black Friday 60% off, and you click in there, and there is infinite deals.
Yep.
For all titles, including the ones that are on Stadia, which is what makes it worse.
So, how many emails do you usually get on a Black Friday from tech companies or software platforms?
It's well before the Friday.
I don't get many.
Google, it's not hard. Come on.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're kind of holding back on sales at the moment because they don't actually have that big of an install base at the moment compared to like Microsoft or Sony, so they can only discount to a certain degree because they'll still need to make profit off games.
Yeah.
That being said, that it's exclusively old games on the platform, so
This is the problem. We're not asking them to discount brand new trip. We're not asking them to discount Jedi Fallen Order, which no doubt out there on Black Friday, some people will have picked up great deals on that brand new game.
Probably 10 or 20% or something.
Yeah, when half of your library are games that are over 2-3 year old, whack some discounts on. Like, I don't know about you two, but I was certainly waiting for Friday to pick up some kind of additional game. I'm getting to the end of Tomb Raider now. If the second Tomb Raider had a discount on it or a Black Friday, even if it was 10-15% extra, something to make me think, oh, you know what? I'm going to throw some money at that, because the great thing with Black Friday is it creates this atmosphere where everybody wants to spend. That consumer society we live in where everyone's ready to just throw their pay slip away, just think that's because it's on a yellow price tag.
I don't know when you get paid, but I actually got paid on Black Friday this month as well. So
yeah, my bank account was the best it's been in the last 4 weeks, and I was ready to spend money.
You know what? It would have been great if like I was something like Darksiders Genesis or Borderlands 3 just came out and like Black Friday, here you go, it's discounted for this day only.
Yeah, even a game release, just like delay a game release on Stadia until the day. At least a nice little surprise, something different to what we've been looking at since the day the store opened.
Yeah. So rant over on that one. I think we'll put a pin in that there. They have another opportunity though. Monday.
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
You are on a digital platform selling a digital-only device. Your entire customer base is using their mobile phone, another digital piece of equipment, to purchase items from your game store. You have till the end of close, Cyber Monday, to get a deal on this store to make up for the backlash that's going to come with Black Friday deals not being there.
Let's take the opportunity to ask the panel. Richie, do you think they will?
No.
Chris, do you think they will?
No, I really don't.
And I'm going to throw mine in there. No. Sorry to be pessimistic, but there is an opportunity for redemption. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, there is surprises. Cyber Monday, he's a new game. He's a couple of new games. Again, it was last Monday and Tuesday we got the Final Fantasy and Trials drop, so...
Speaking of which, I have just had an email from a different platform saying, don't forget Cyber Monday tomorrow. So,
actually, I've got an email as well. Shall we just check if this is the most ironically timed thing ever? No, mine's not. Mine's Patreon.
Fine.
Who's yours, Tom? Name drop them.
No, mine
I'd say
was
shame them, but it's not shame.
It's not. No,
we're asking Google to do this. It's very much not shaming.
Yeah, I just had an email from Blizzard. Cyber Monday sales.
Straight in there.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of these emails because I unsubscribe to a lot of things. Yeah, that too.
Saves the disappointment when you don't get it.
Yeah.
Definitely, but I think we'll move on from that topic because if you can't tell, we're all a bit sore on it because we wanted to spend money. That's the worst part. It's not that we wanted anything for free. We were willing to spend money on Friday, and you've lost.
Before we move on, I'm just flicking through the Stadia Twitter account, and there seems to be a lot of replies to people having problems. I think with the Premier Edition delivery. There's a lot of have you received email and tweets from Stadia, have you received your code? And it's like,
okay.
Luckily we're
founders
and not Premier Edition. So for those of you new listeners who are Premier members, welcome. And also, sorry for that rant. We just went on for about 10 minutes, but welcome to the club. And yeah, actually, funny you should mention that, Richie, because another news article that dropped this week was Google is making Founders Editions of Stadia available to purchase for anyone who originally cancelled their Founders Edition through error or fault. I think it was you had a delivery mix-up or your direct debit or your payment got cancelled. They're sending emails out to old founders and say, I know you missed out. You missed your opportunity due to whatever reason. Would you still like it? Because we've still got some left in the warehouse. So apparently, if you were one of the original founders who bottled it or cancelled it or through mishaps lost out, check your inbox because Google may be getting in touch saying it's still sat there with your name on it.
And if not, get in touch with them. You might be able to blag us.
Yeah, you might get it before the Premier members.
I actually found what I was looking for, and Google Stadia, as Twitter has said, sent a tweet out replying to someone saying, "While we don't have any news to share for Cyber Monday sales, our Black Friday sales have started at launch and they'll continue through Black Friday weekend. The sale end times are noted in the Stadia app, so please don't miss the opportunity to take advantage of these deals."
Please move on before I rage.
That was November the 30th, so that's... Yeah.
Wow, that's okay. That's irony in its biggest sense. Okay, right. Okay, anyway. Right. On to positive stuff, we've got our free games for December. They were also announced in the last week. So we got 2 game launches and our free games for December. They are, to both mine and Richie's disappointment, Tomb Raider, the definitive edition, and also 2 games, which I don't think we expected 2 per month. Farming Simulator 2019. So a little bit to unpack with this particular one. Originally, straight away for me and Richie, I don't know about you, Richie, but I was like, shit. The game of all the library games that I'd opted to purchase is the one they give away free 2 weeks later. Your thoughts on that, Richie?
I was exactly the same as you. And bear in mind, I actually only purchased Tomb Raider when I did because the Destiny 2 servers were down when I actually got hardware. So I thought, it's a game I thought I was going to play through all 3 Tomb Raider games anyway. I've only played through the first one. I thought, okay, it's literally the cheapest thing on the store.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. It gets me a chance to test out the hardware while Destiny servers are down.
Mm-hmm. So you've got to laugh. You've got to laugh. But you did get a refund, correct?
Yes. I just went through the normal refund procedure and it was pretty much instantaneous.
Right. So we mentioned it last week that, the refund policy is very similar to the competition out there. But if you go onto the Google Stadia app, find your game list, and there should be an icon for a refund option. And the rules that stipulate that around it are if you've played less than 2 hours of the game and it's under 14 days, you get a refund pretty much instantly, is what I've seen from other people online who've purchased things and then opted to refund them because they've not enjoyed it or for what other reasons. My scenario, a little bit different. I must have put quite a few more hours into Tomb Raider than you had done, Richie. I'd owned it for 6 days at the time this news dropped, so less than a week. And my refund option wasn't there in the app because naturally I'd superseded the 2 hours that were required for a refund. Not happy in the moment because obviously it's essentially cost me £8. Not a great amount, not going to break the bank if I'm honest, but that money could be reinvested in Black Friday. Not in Black Friday sales.
Maybe Cyber Monday
could
sales.
Be reinvested back into the Stadia Games library. So I actually spoke to someone called Ken over in the community management team or the help center place. He offered me a refund straight away, so credit to them there. I think they've been quite upfront and center with, we'll give you the money. My argument back to Ken, not argument, he was a nice guy, was that I want to keep playing the game. If you refund the game to me there and then, I no longer have it in my library. It gets stripped out pretty much straight away also. With being not the biggest Destiny 2 fan, I wanted something to play throughout the week. So I'm currently hanging fire on my refund. And he did say he'll get in touch with me regarding it because it was clear that there was probably going to be a few people emailing or notifying them or asking for a refund. And Google has since clarified that, anyone who purchased Tomb Raider on the initial launch can have a refund regardless of how long they've played for, which is the right thing to do. I totally believe. But my scenario is going to come into play when now the free games should be rolling out at the start of December. If I get in touch with them again, will I get my £8 back? And will my save file be affected?
That's what I was just thinking about it. Would it actually cross over? Is your save sort of like linked to your account, in which case it doesn't matter which version you've got? Time will tell.
Exactly.
I think we're only a couple of hours away, aren't we? In fact, I think it's about 4 p.m., 5 p.m. UK time that they're actually adding the games to the store 1st of December as time of recording.
Yeah, so potentially. So fingers crossed that I'll be able to just get back in touch with them, say, right now the free edition is out, do me a swap. I'll swap you the paid one for the free one, I'll get my £8 back, and I'll be able to reimburse that back into the Stadia library on Cyber Monday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hold my breath. But in terms of the pro deals, it's great. We've got our 2 new games. I don't know about your thoughts, gentlemen, but they didn't set the world on fire for me. I don't know what, I don't know what I was hoping for, but...
Well, I was hoping for maybe if you're going to bring out a Tomb Raider game for your pro deal, maybe go for the newest one, not the oldest one.
And that might
the newest one
isn't
the newest one isn't a new game. It's a couple of years old at this point. And Farming Sim, I have no experience with it, but it's a very niche game.
I'm gonna play it. We should definitely stream it on the 14th. We should make our own little.
I wouldn't have even contemplated buying it ever because it just not appeal to me. But I'm gonna play it because I have it. But...
Out of principle, it's free. Why not?
It's gonna lend itself to mouse and keyboard quite well, I believe. Back to any simulator style game. But back to that. So I'm looking forward to playing that.
So far, to be honest, I think the pro games have been underwhelming. Bear in mind, Destiny 2 is effectively free to play on all platforms nowadays, barring the addition of the add-on content. So you do get the add-on content, you get the season pass. That's effectively what you're getting in your pro subscription. And Samurai Showdown, again, it's a fight.
It's a game.
Either you're in the fight or you're not.
Yeah, definitely.
And
but if we stack that up against the competition then, so the PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold were also announced this week. Xbox Games with Gold has got 4 titles. They've got Insane Robots, which I couldn't find an Amazon price for. You've got Jurassic World Evolution, which is a fantastic game, clocking in on Amazon about $17.99 on average. Castlevania Lord of Shadow, about £4.39. And out of nowhere, Toy Story 3, the video game, which when you try and actually find on Amazon, I think it's quite rare now because it's got that Disney factor to it. It actually varies you can find them from £16 on Xbox all the way to PlayStation 3 variants for up to about £40. But again, I'm sure these aren't being purchased for collector's editions. And then the PS Plus games is Titanfall 2, which you can pick up for a minimal £3.75, which is a fantastic price for that game if you've not played it before. The campaign's amazing. And then there's Monster Energy Supercross, which I know you endorsed, I think, in one of the earlier podcasts, Richie. Monster Energy Super Drink Supercross. That one clocks in about £13.28. So collectively, financially, they're not too dissimilar, I'd say, across the board. But in terms of titles, for me, Jurassic World Evolution and Titanfall 2 specifically are infinitely better than Farming Simulator 2019.
Yeah, agreed. If you actually put them side by side, I'd probably say, I hate to do it, but I have to say I think Microsoft win it this month.
Yeah, they're throwing everything at it. I mean, I don't think if I had all of these 3 subscriptions, which actually, to be fair, I've got 2 out of 3, I'd probably Jurassic World would probably pit my interest out of the 2 of them. I think a lot of them are a lot of filler, which is why PlayStation stripped theirs back to just 2 games, because the reality was all those free indie games you were getting, as you mentioned, Richie, they're just games that you would never buy.
Yeah.
So looking at them, I think across the board, all of them are quite average. It seems to be the trend for these kind of subscription services at the moment.
Yeah. Interestingly, if you are looking at Toy Story 3, I've just brought up the Xbox Marketplace, and it's apparently $8.99 on the Xbox Marketplace for Xbox 360. Interestingly, though, the release date was the 1st of August this year.
That might be when it's been made backwards compatible.
Maybe.
Toy Story 4 came out this summer, so I definitely hope it's not delayed production that long.
Yeah, that's what I read. You know, when you read something that you're taken aback a bit, it's like, surely that can't be 2019. But maybe. There you go.
Maybe in a Black Friday sale deal. We never know. So hopefully we'll find out when the games drop. We'll jump into that and have a little play around, and we'll probably find out about our free January games, given this time probably the back end of December. We never know if they could keep this trend up. But unfortunately, the catalogue is so short of games at the moment. They are quite specific about what they can and can't give us.
And I think there's a lot of this decision making goes with actually down to the developers as well.
Oh, of course, because there's some money needs exchanging to get these deals. So for anyone who bought Farming Simulator out there for £27 or £29, whatever it is, get your money back for that, because you certainly spent a lot more than anyone who bought Tomb Raider did.
I'd imagine someone like Bungie with Destiny were like, yes, you can have everything for free, because that game will live or die on its community.
Yeah.
So by getting a lot of people in straight away, you're immediately building a community there.
Yeah. And there's so many like paid elements in that as well. Like if you want cosmetics and things still, you can still buy it. So Bungie are clearly still getting money rolling in from it. So it's a worthwhile exchange on their part.
Yeah. Wait till we jump into Farming Simulator and find out that you've got to pay for weeks.
Gold-plated John Deere tractor. Let's go.
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall between Google and Square when they were talking about getting something for December, and Square like, you can have Tomb Raider, the original one, and like, you can kind of think of like maybe someone from Google like, well, actually we were hoping for maybe Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, maybe, you never know, because the ironic thing is, if we're looking at Square Enix here, I feel a lot of people bought Tomb Raider before it became the free game.
Yep.
Out of us three, 2 out of 3 of us bought it. So if that kind of echoes into everyone else in the Stadia community who wanted a third-person action game to jump into, £8 was a perfect price.
Yep.
They've all jumped and bought it. Then Google go, right, this is our free game for December. Everyone wants their money back. Who do you think pays that refund? Do you think Square lose their money out on that? Because I think Google are going to...
I think they're going to have to fork out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just
Square secretly got onto a double winner here, where they've got everyone who's bought it on launch day, and then everyone who's going to get it free, and they've got the Google money paying for it to be the free December game.
Yeah.
Double win.
So just to clarify, the only reason I didn't buy Tomb Raider was because I was waiting until payday. And as soon as payday rolled around, they'd already announced it was the free game. So,
well.
I think a lot of these business decisions, the way they probably work is Google will put up so much money for the game to be able to distribute as many people as they want. So Square will get a big lump sum right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where does the developer make money if Google are just giving their game away for free?
Yeah, exactly. There's always discussions that need to go on in the background.
Yeah.
So speaking of business practices, not related at all, I thought we'll just quickly segue into the What's Stadia element this week. So we've dropped it from the top of the show because we want to get straight into the games news now. Stadia is live, but we wouldn't want to strip it out completely.
Yeah. We know there's people who come here just for this.
Yeah, we know people coming for that. So last week after we dropped into what state we're in? Massachusetts last week. In honor of it being Thanksgiving, and we visited that lake with the incredibly difficult name to pronounce. Can either of you two remember it?
Nope. Webster Lake. There we go.
Yeah, well done, Tom. You remembered the
easy version.
Easy version, certainly. So in light of people being thankful and things all poultry related, I thought we'd have a mosey on over to another state known globally for a much shorter name, thankfully. 3 letters, KFC. Which takes us to what state, lads?
It's Kentucky.
Arizona.
No, Richie, no, not Arizona.
Arizona fried chicken.
Arizona fried chicken. It's AFC football team. Right, yes, that's right. It's Kentucky. So really quickly, just to keep it light on the facts this week. So naturally, the first KFC was owned and operated by Colonel Sanders himself, and it's still running in Corbin, Kentucky. Ooh. I'm sure it's probably got the best. I think it's actually called Sanders Cafe. I don't think it's called KFC. That's obviously more the marketing one.
Exclusively named it separate.
Was he really a colonel?
Don't know.
I don't actually know the answer, but I feel like he's got some kind of honorary colonel thing. You know, like people get like honorary diplomas and stuff from high schools and universities.
He just started calling himself a colonel for so long that people just gave him shit.
Yeah. Well, before that, he was the chicken man, so he obviously wanted
it's
to
the
tweet
chicken
that.
man.
It's the chicken man. So yes, first KFC owned and operated, still live. It's also a great state for celebrations because the classic song "Happy Birthday to You" was created there in Louisville in 1893. You've all sung it. You all know the words. Happy birthday.
So if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. And the largest amount of gold stored anywhere in the world is in Fort Knox, Kentucky, where more than $6 billion worth of gold is held in its underground vaults.
I did not know Fort Knox was in Kentucky.
I had no idea.
You would if you'd seen the movie Goldfinger, the 007 classic, because that takes place in Fort Knox.
I don't pay attention to semantics of the state. I just know it's Fort Knox. It's as simple as that.
Fort Knox, exactly. And then, interestingly enough, this feeds back to a previous episode. I feel like it was episode 2 or 3. Kentucky Legend says that the first cheeseburger was served at Cowlin's restaurant in Louisville in 1934.
Whoa,
exactly.
Whoa. Hold on a second. You finish that thought, Chris. You finish that thought.
So, those of you who remember previous episodes, a certain restaurant in Denver actually patented the cheeseburger.
They didn't make any.
Later. So, apparently it was made in Kentucky first, but they weren't smart enough to patent it. So, that honor goes to Denver.
Wow.
So this is where the rivalry starts. And since
Trick.
then, they must have just opted for chicken instead. They lost out on the cheeseburger, so you know what? We'll default to fried chicken.
Turned over to those 11 herbs and spices. Simple as that.
Hey, I tell you what, though, either of these states that you're living in, I'd be happy.
Well, going back to Colonel Sanders, apparently he is a colonel, kind of.
He's
A
dead.
Kentucky colonel is the highest honor that can be bestowed by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So he is a colonel. He's just not a military man.
Does that come with the white suit then, that honor, or was that his own doing as well?
I think that's probably his own doing. He was
Maybe he just-
recognised
maybe
for
he just-
outstanding service to the community, state, and nation.
Oh, well, maybe he
Provided
just
them
fell in the
chicken.
flour. His suit was originally black, but just fell in the hole of flour.
Hey, look dapper.
So to bring it back into games and away from chicken, because I'm actually getting quite hungry talking
Actually,
about it.
one more little nugget. Winston Churchill was apparently a Kentucky colonel.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali. There's some quite famous people who are Kentucky colonels.
Well, Muhammad Ali is from Kentucky. I did know that. But
Churchill certainly is not.
Yeah.
not that we're aware of, no.
Nope, but he is a Kentucky colonel.
Fine.
Right, okay. So now Richie stripped the facts out of there. We'll move over to games, I think. It's a very difficult one this week. I could only find two on my very brief search through the internet. Any idea, gentlemen? Stop Googling it and think off the top of your heads.
Kentucky. The only thing I can think of is because you sort of like, spoiler alert, gave it away earlier, was like Goldfinger. Like,
Yeah,
Don't
I think
think
it
was probably
smart.
that's too old for games. I don't.
So this is where if you were listening to the 007 podcast, which doesn't mean it's a separate podcast about James Bond, our seventh episode, which you should definitely go and check out because it's one of the lesser listened to episodes on our docket, but it's probably the best and most carefully planned out, intricate one with puns and names and such. Yes, Tom, Goldfinger, Fort Knox, Kentucky took place there. The aforementioned game 007 Legends, which jumped around between about 4 or 5 different.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
I like what you're thinking, because that is totally correct. The other game, which I don't think anyone will ever get, I found was Kentucky Route Zero, which is a magical, realistic, episodic point-and-click adventure game.
Oh wow, that's a game.
I'm sorry. What?
Although I'm very aware, for those who haven't seen, it's not on my list, but I definitely know it exists. The I Love You, Colonel Sanders finger-licking dating simulator.
The dating sim.
That has to be set in Kentucky, right? It's
Surely it
literally
is.
the sexiest looking Colonel Sanders I've ever seen in
imagine.
anime form. I don't know what you do in the game, but I know you have to chat to him and flirt with him, and I presume end up going out with him. Maybe. I've not looked, but check it out. I Love You, Colonel Sanders. I think it's on Steam at the moment. It looks as ridiculous as it does fun, and you should definitely have a look at it.
Dating sims are weird. I think there was one on PS Plus before that where you dated a pigeon.
Yeah. Hatterful boyfriend.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. But yeah, that brings us to a wrap on that. So that is Kentucky, another state ticked off the list. Which brings us to the last segment of the show before we wrap up. It's currently games we are currently playing, or games we played, yeah. Tom, do you want to get us started? What you're on at the moment?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier in the show, I've just bought the Ultimate Edition of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So right now I'm getting back into the swing of things, picking it up. Completely forgot the control scheme compared to like playing it the first time around, especially after playing the other title I'm going to talk about. It's very weird going from like one game to another, very similar play styles, but having quite different control schemes. I've only just completed the first island. Go for it.
The jumping back into Odyssey on a separate platform. Did you start with a different character?
I did.
Cassandra.
So yeah, the first time around I played Cassandra. This time I'm playing as Alexios.
Ah, interesting. Because I didn't know. I feel like if I started again, I'd definitely do the opposite of what I played through the first time. Interesting.
Yeah, that
Looks
was. Yeah, it looks great. As I said, I played it on the PC, so I had a little bit of artifacting with performance, but on the Chromecast Ultra, incredible, beautiful game, still holds up. Might be starting to feel slightly dated, Only starting to. And I think it's more. Yeah, I think it's noticeable more when you're playing it in a higher resolution as well. Like you can see in the textures, if you look close enough on a bigger screen and so on, you can see in the textures where it starts to sort of, pixelate a little bit. But it still holds up. It's still a beautiful game. Still plays incredibly well.
How were the load times on it? Because I know that was one of my frustrations playing it on a PS4 Pro, was that sometimes in between fast travel, it took quite a long time. I felt like I was staring at that little pyramid on fire in the loading screen where it gives you the hints and tips in that kind of black cave environment. I feel like I stared at that a lot.
So I haven't really had much of an issue with that at the moment, but granted, I have only just left the first island, so I've just left Kefalonia. So whether it hasn't sort of rendered the rest of the world yet or not, that might have something to play into it. But from my own experience, it hasn't been too bad. I've jumped between the 2 fast travel locations on Kefalonia pretty frequently, like at least 3 or 4 times just to get around to turn quests in. And it's been fine. It's been absolutely fine. So hopefully that holds up. I'm looking forward to getting into the ocean and really going for it.
Good. Have you got that Cyclops' eyeball yet?
No, I did mean to go back and do that. That's my next thing.
That's an achievement attached to getting that eyeball.
I realized after I actually went through the process, I was like, I got to get that goat. I got to get that goat before it gets too far away. It's too far away.
Get the goat.
Yeah. Other game, Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order. Still playing it, but I feel I'm right at the cusp of finishing it now. In terms
of delay the podcast today so you can play it.
The podcast is coming to you half an hour later because Tom was playing Jedi Fallen Order.
So close. I've got all trophies bar 2 of them. The Platinum Trophy and one other trophy, which I think is where I currently am. I think
What's the final trophy?
It's a hidden trophy. So I assume it's story related. Spoilers. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because I got the Platinum during the week as well. Thoroughly enjoyed it to a point where I wish there was more. That's what's annoying me. I finished it and now I'm like, which is, if it came to Stadia, I'd buy it straight away and play through it again. I just give me more. I need DLC. They need to announce something or a new game plus. They need something to get me back into that. Because I've reached the height of power now, and I feel like I'd love to play through it all with just infinite abilities.
I feel like EA aren't going to give it more though, because there's something EA have been criticised heavily in the past with DLC. So I think actually, here's a game, play it, have fun, then you can move on, is probably a good move for their image right now.
Well, if the fans ask for it though, that's when I think it becomes positive.
If the fans ask for it, maybe then they should get back to work and starting. But
the one thing I want to jump in and say right here is, with only Chris out of the 3 of us knowing how this concludes, because like me, Richie, you don't know how this game ends yet.
I don't know how the game begins yet. I have it. Wow. I haven't played.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I don't know. We're all Star Wars fans, and I don't want to get too off topic, but we know what happens to the Jedi. So there is only so far this story can go.
It's a big universe out there.
It is a big universe out there. I want to see DLC for it, or I at least want to see Fallen Order 2.
It's a definite. It's an absolute must. They've got about another 2-3 years left on the license, I think. But the way this one's titled, so it's Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order, which means it's like the brand, the franchise is going to be Star Wars Jedi. So the next one will be Star Wars Jedi: whatever it may be.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yeah.
An interesting idea for a setting for a Fallen Order 2 could be, if you remember at the end of Last Jedi, you had that kid using force pulling the broom. So if you set it in that era, you've opening up the world, and we know with Rise of Skywalker is coming out this month. We don't know how that's going to end. Well, it's looking like people with the Force are propping up again all over the galaxy.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting.
Play through the game, and then you'll definitely understand. I think that it's a big enough scope that you can put these things anywhere. But thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely want more. Rich, what have you been playing?
Mainly, I was playing a lot more of Destiny 2 because I wanted to give it a real good go. It's okay. it's fine. But to be honest, I've kind of found the loop of just dropping into a world, doing random events or killing things, doing bounties, just to get better gear. It grew quite stale quite quickly for me.
Do you feel like you're constantly just picking up gear at the moment? And...
Yeah, it just feels like I'm putting on a new piece of equipment because it's got better numbers, and that is the entirety of the game so far. I haven't done any like raids or strikes or any like things like PvP stuff, but the PvP stuff, quite frankly, doesn't interest me. The raids, obviously, I need a group of people, but I'm not really invested in the game to actually put the effort into doing that. I might give strikes a go, but to be honest, I think I'm at a point where when I get Tomb Raider back in a couple of hours, I'll probably drop Destiny 2.
Yeah. I've not done that much different. I think I've played this week, finished off Fallen Order, as I mentioned, a bit more Tomb Raider on Stadia. I randomly jumped into Lego Harry Potter because it's an easy platinum trophy, and I'm just going to start winding down towards Christmas now. And realistically, all the big games have came out this year that I had vested interest in. And I also subscribed to Xbox Game Pass for £1 on the PC, on the beta for it, to just try that out. So I've been playing Age of Empires Definitive Edition, which is amazing. Holds up so well. So many good memories.
I've got
which is why I was interested in the RTS conversation, because I'd love to play that on Stadia. And I've got Out of Worlds downloaded, which that's one that's piqued my interest. So the fact that I can play it for £1, fantastic.
Brilliant.
So that pretty much gives us a wrap on all things Stadia and games this week. Obviously, we'll be back with probably a bit more detail about what we're intending to stream on the 14th of December soon enough, as that date creeps around. Anything else from you two gentlemen this week?
Nothing at all. We need to have the conversation about where we're going to be doing this streaming. So as soon as we've decided
the internet,
where on the internet somewhere, you'll find us. Just search for it. You'll find it. No, we'll announce exactly where, so you can make sure you've got that in your diaries ready to find us, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the Twitter and the Patreon. You'll hear the announcements through there.
Yeah, definitely. So brilliant. That's all we've got time for on this week's show. Thank you to everyone out there for listening. Remember, you can find us on all major podcasting platforms, and now you should even be able to ask Alexa or your trusty Google Assistant to play Sounds of Stadia if you like to hear our sweet, sweet voices echoing throughout your homes. You've also got no excuse now, because we are everywhere. So you can listen to us to your heart's content. So don't forget, though, you can follow us over on YouTube, which is most likely where one of the places we'll be streaming from will be. Remember to subscribe, click that little bell icon just to be kept in the loop for when it does go live. It'll show up as a really trusty notification on your phone or tablet. I hope you have a great gaming week, everyone. It's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from Tom, and it's a gentle caress of the cheek from Richie. We've been Sounds of Stadia. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.